Hey, welcome back to the Sunday Serving channel, where you come every week for gospel, joy, and hope for gold. And we're just walking by the garden here, and look at this scene. I mean, the harvest is still coming in, even though it feels like fall, doesn't it? Feel like fall, kind of?
Yeah.
Well, what are you guys doing?
We are right now. We're starting to pull out some of the
Pulling out the
spring plants, and
those
we
plants are
are
done. They're
starting
finished.
to plant cover crop, and then we are also planting some zucchini here.
Zucchini?
Which is new.
Oh, new zucchini.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's gonna still have enough time to.
Yeah. Before it gets
That's our beans. We planted them. That's our latest planting beans. Yeah.
Beans. Well, that's lots of vegetables. Another word for vegetable is fruit. You know, we're in this show we talk about the Bible. The Bible talks a lot about fruit. Good vegetables are fruit, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're produce of plants, and what you grow here is pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
You guys take it home and eat it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes you strong and healthy. How strong are you?
I don't know.
Pretty good. Well, keep going. Keep harvesting. That guy over there is really working hard. All right, well, we'll carry on down here, down this pathway. Yeah, happy Labor Day. Cameraman Rich is taking a holiday, and the backup cameraman is taking a holiday. So it's I got TJ with me today, and the dogs.
Good morning.
And the kids in the garden, and we're kind of on selfie mode here. So since I'm using my phone, TJ, you're going to have to do the heavy lifting with the reading.
All right.
We got to the middle of the 7th chapter of Matthew in the Sermon on the Mount. And it starts out with what we know, what all Bibles mostly label as the golden rule, even though it doesn't say that in the text, does it?
No, it doesn't.
But let's start there and talk about that.
Sure. So this is it's just 3 verses, Matthew 7:12 through 14. So, whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them.
Let's stop right there, TJ, because that's Jesus' words expressing what we call the golden rule, right? Do unto others as you would them do to you, right?
Yeah.
That's a pretty simple and amazing rule. And I know a lot of people say that actually that didn't originate with Jesus, that ideas of that rule are as far back in history as you can find. What do you know about that?
Well, there's lots of versions of the golden rule that are out there in other cultures. But what I like about Jesus' version is that it's positive. One of the closest possible points of comparison with Jesus is there's a story about one of the early rabbis. I think it was Hillel. If it was Hillel, it was about 100 years or so before Jesus. And someone asked him to recite the whole law while standing on one foot. And he stood on one foot and he said, whatever is hateful to you, do not do to your neighbor.
So that's what we mean about positive and negative.
Jesus' version is
the old version in the Judaic teaching was don't do bad things to other people.
And Jesus is whatever you wish that others do to you would do to you, do also.
And
to them.
it's a mandate, it's a command of action.
Yeah.
Not just refrain from killing your neighbor, which wouldn't be very nice, but do good things to him. Yeah. Give him the things that you would like. It's action, it's deeds, it's living out love, not just feelings. And I read somewhere that this sort of negative version, don't do things that you don't want done to yourself, goes back to the Egyptian cultures, first found in writing like 2,000 years BC.
There's also in
how did it? Why? I mean, Jesus didn't say, "Here, I'm going to tell you the golden rule now. Go do it."
Yeah.
Where did that come? The golden rule thing? You know?
I actually don't know. I don't know.
I was reading that it probably originated in England, thanks to the Brits, with the Anglican
William
theologians.
Tyndale,
Yeah, maybe William Tyndale or someone.
King
Framed
James
it the golden rule. Anyways, do
Yeah.
deeds.
Yeah.
Show love, give, serve to others, not to yourself, what you would like. I don't know about you, but growing up, my parents taught this by when it was time to give a present to someone else, they always said, choose your best toy. Not the one you don't like anymore.
Our parents are the same.
Choose your best toy and give it to your friend.
Yeah.
Boy, that hurt.
Yeah.
But I guess they taught us the golden rule. Thanks, Dad and Mom.
Yeah.
So, go on. So in the context, Jesus says that, and then what's next?
So, verse 15 is the parable of the tree and its fruit. So, it's just 15 through 20. Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. You will recognize them by their fruits. Are grapes gathered from thorn bushes, or figs from thistles? So, every healthy tree bears good fruit, but the diseased tree bears bad fruit. A healthy tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a diseased tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Thus, you will recognize them by their fruits.
And that was great to begin the video with the garden there. And those are some healthy plants there.
Yeah.
And the produce that come out are beautiful, wholesome, and not diseased. And but that Jesus starts that word with beware of false prophets. I think that's an important warning. Let's talk about that a bit. So he concentrates on the fruit test.
Right.
He doesn't say right there what the fruits. He assumes you know what. Look at the fruits. Are they good or are they bad? If they're good, then there's something here. If they're bad, don't trust it. But where else does he talk about the actual fruits? What they are, the fruits of the Spirit.
Or the fruits of the
I mean,
Spirit.
I know in Galatians it talks about that, but is there any way Jesus delineates the fruits?
So, the one that immediately comes to mind is there's a section of the Didache, which many people have thought is very similar to the Gospel of Matthew. And in that section, it's the words of Jesus, and it's Jesus telling specifically how to deal with prophets and how to discern whether a prophet should be listened to or not. And it even says things like, if what the prophet says comes to pass, then you know that the prophet is trustworthy, is believable. And
what does Paul say about the fruits in Galatians?
He has
the fruits of the Spirit are, and then he has a whole list: love, joy, peace, patience.
Yeah.
Do you have that down somewhere?
Yeah, here. It is chapter 5, verses 22 and 23. I'm sure most of our listeners, watchers know this. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing about that. So we think of the fruits of the Spirit as doing good deeds, but a bunch of those things aren't really deeds. It's like attitudes or ways of being,
Amen. And that's the whole Sermon on the Mount.
Self-control is like not doing things.
Focuses on attitudes, right? That's the whole cool thing. It's not just about being self-righteous and knowing the scripture, be able to quote it, and not transgressing laws. It's what's preceding that. What's the attitude? And love to others will come out in deeds. So if you have the right attitude, the fruits will be right. Should we go on there?
Yeah. Here, I'll pull it up again. Okay, this is starting at verse 21. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. On that day, Many will say to me, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name and cast out demons in your name and do many mighty works in your name? And then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness.
Yeah, so that's a warning. Let's jump back to the gate, the wide and the narrow gate.
Here,
we kind of didn't discuss that too much, but right after the golden rule, he talks about the two ways, the way of life, the wide and the narrow gate.
Yeah.
Let's read that one again.
Here. Oh, yeah.
You might have inadvertently jumped over.
Oh yeah, I think I skipped over it.
We don't want to leave anything out.
So this is 13. This is 13 and 14. Enter by the narrow gate, for the gate is wide and the way is easy that leads to destruction, and those who enter it by it are many. For the gate is narrow and the way is hard that leads to life, and those who find it are few.
Wow.
It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool where we're standing.
Now, so we're kind of on the wide road here.
Yeah.
But we're actually at a junction. Let me show it to you. Maybe we can. So there's the wide road, and there, look, Delta's taking the narrow way. I don't see any gates here, but what do you think? I mean, it's not just about a physical gate. It's actually a way. It's like the entrance to a way, and Jesus is talking about the two ways of life. So let's walk up this little narrow way here, talk about that a bit. So how do you, because in other passages, Jesus says, my yoke is easy, my burden is light. And come to me, all you who are burdened, and I will give you rest. So those are very encouraging things about come to Jesus. It's going to be a lot better for you. And then here he says, beware of the wide road, the easy way, the wide gate that leads to death. And narrow is the gate, hard is the way that leads to life. Let's talk about that a bit, because people might puzzle over that.
Isn't it a nice thought that you can walk the hard way, but with an easy yoke?
There you go. So it might be a hard way, but Jesus will
we don't have to
bear your burden for you.
Yeah.
I think there's many things going on here. First of all, it points that Jesus is the way.
Right.
The way to life is through Jesus.
Yeah.
Not through all the other false prophets.
Right.
Or reliance on ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
I think traditionally most people would jump to the thought, which is true, that wide way is about pleasure, it's about wealth, it's about power, it's about good things, it's about worldly pursuits, it's about pride, it's about self-righteousness. And narrow is the way of self-sacrifice, of serving others, serving Jesus.
Yeah.
It is difficult, but even, doesn't this also speak to when things are difficult? If you embrace them, it brings great reward. I mean, that's true physically. Like an athlete has to work hard to become good.
Right.
And even here, we came up this little narrow path, and it very quickly comes up to a beautiful view. So if you're going up a mountain, usually those trails are pretty narrow. So you get to the top to see the views. If you take the wide way, it kind of has to meander around.
Yeah, look at that panorama. That's amazing.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So this narrow way brought us up here to the mountaintop a lot quicker than if we'd stayed on the wide road.
Yeah.
Man, look at that view. But in the context of the Sermon on the Mount, maybe another part of this about the narrowness of the way, it does talk to our attitudes.
Oh yeah.
And our heart.
Absolutely.
Like he said previous to that, it's wrong to kill someone, right?
Right.
But where does murder start? It doesn't start with that gun or that knife or that rock.
It starts with that.
It starts with an attitude of anger and hatred, or anger or jealousy. Bitterness, resentment that turns to hatred, and that's the root of murder.
And that's even in a court of law, even in a secular court, that's the first thing we have to prove.
Intent. Yeah. Same with lust. He was saying, don't commit adultery, but you who look at a woman with lust in your heart have already committed it. So it's your attitude that leads to unfaithfulness and immorality. It starts with something inside of an impure desire for something that's wrong. And so that narrow way is saying, no, we're gonna put those desires aside, and we're gonna desire God and His will, Jesus. And the way to do that is to do good things to others. So it all comes together. And the narrow way, actually, when we take Jesus, it's not so difficult and narrow. He helps us, and it's rewarding, and it's a way to go, and it bears good fruits. And it's a way to life. And what looks so broad and easy and attractive actually doesn't bear good fruit. And leads to death.
And one of the other encouraging things about that is we might not choose the yoke. Jesus puts that on us, but we can choose the way. And we can that's in our ballpark.
We choose the way, and we choose the goal. We don't know what's going to happen along the way. And that's also, even in, like when there's this hurt, trauma in our lives, the way for healing is to go right at it, to embrace the hard things, to talk about them, and to come to peace in our own hearts of forgiveness, really. And that's the way of Jesus. That's this narrow way that leads to life, that leads to forgiveness, that leads to love, that leads to healing, which is true life. So there's a little bit from this, almost the last part of the Sermon on the Mount. We have one more section to talk about the rock foundation, and then how Jesus taught. So we'll look forward to that next week. But God bless you all. Have a wonderful week, and hopefully next week our cameraman's back, because my arm is really getting a workout here. So it really has been a hard way today. But God bless. Take care, and happy Labor Day weekend.